Hi everyone, how's it going? Andy here, also known as that one dude, and welcome to another Dragon Ball DAIMA video. Today we will be reviewing episode 5 of Dragon Ball DAIMA. Very hyped for this one. Very good episode overall. Easily an 8, 9, I was even a 9 out of 10. Very good episode. The fighting sequence was amazing for sure, and a lot of detail was given in this one. So, to start off episode 5, we start off where we left off. We saw the mysterious girl there, so they're talking. Goku, of course, is she's thanking her, and then of course she asks, how are you this strong? Then Goku says, oh, by training. And then he's like, well, what's your name, by the way? Well, we now know her name. Her name is Panzy. So Pansy is now the new character here. She is, well, I was gonna say she's a girl, but actually she is not. I will reveal how old she was later. She is definitely up in age, so, but you'll see why. But yeah, her name is Pansy. She's introduced. Then of course, she's saying, "Oh, thank you." She's like, and then Goku. Then she said, "What are you guys doing anyway?" They don't want to reveal the information, but of course, Goku, being a klutz, ends up saying, "Oh, we're going to the king's castle." Well, he revealed it. And she's like, "Well, I know where that's at. Let's go. I'll show you." Glorio says, "No, we don't want you there." In a sense, basically. So she's trying. No, they're trying to tell her to take a hike in a small sense. So basically pretty much that. So but she still tags along anyway, so as you can see, the pictures there. Then they're talking and they ask each other's names. Now referring to the picture here, of course, shout out to DBS Hype. Go ahead and give him a follow. Also subscribe to his channel as well. So as you can see, she's asking, what's your name? And Goku of course says Goku. And of course she says, your name's much weirder than mine, because Goku said her name was weird. Now she's saying, no, your name's weirder than mine. So so as you can see there, and he's like, oh, my other name's Kakarot. Well, as you can see, DBS Hype here, Kakarot Mini, of course. So, I mean, yeah, smaller version of him. Now she's like, you have two names. They both sound weird, basically saying, yeah, your names suck in a sense. I mean, of course, I don't think they suck. I mean, they're awesome names. So, but I mean, her name is Pansy. Very interesting name. A very cool name, actually, Pansy. I never would have thought of that. So, cool name there. So, let's go to the next one, which is here. Now, right there, she asks Glorio's name. And well, like DBS Hype says, yeah, I'm at a point there where I'm like, yeah, Goku's never gonna get Glorio's name right. Glorio, then he says Glirio. Yeah, so Goku's never gonna get Glorio's name right, or he's probably, gonna get it right towards the end. Although, I mean, Glorio's still a little bit sus, but we'll see what happens there. I mean, look at this comment here by Glorio's going to become a villain because of Goku. Yeah, I mean, always getting your name right could be annoying, and I could trust me, I think a lot of us would be annoyed with that. So yeah, so there's Pansy asking Glorio's name there. And it's like, and then Goku's like, oh, it's Goliro. And then of course, yeah, it's Goliro. There you go. He calls him Goliro. Yep, so Goku's never gonna get his name right. Then of course Glorio says, no, it's Glorio. And of course, Golori. Of course, Goku's still botching the name. So they're like, huh? Well, I mean, at this point, yeah, Goku's never getting his name right, so we'll just have to move on from there. So, of course, they're walking, they're talking, they're trying to get to the castle. So then we go to the next slide. Then there's like a little cutaway. Basically, here we see Dende. Ever since he was taken, we finally see him again. He's being nursed. Well, he's being nursed for a reason. This is somebody who's reading to him. King Goma has her basically babying Dende. The reason why he's doing it is because he wants to get another set of Dragon Balls. Just to recap, the Demon Realm Dragon Balls are one of the hardest to get because they're being guarded by the Tamagamis. I believe that's what they say. Don't quote me on that, but they're being guarded by them. And so far, nobody has been able to defeat the Tamagamis. So they're very powerful enemies. Of course, Goku wants to get the Demon Realm Dragon Ball so they can make their wish and start, getting back to their normal lives. So I'm actually excited to see what the Tamagamis are made out of, see how skilled they are, and see how strong they are. All this talk is making it interesting, and of course, Goku is definitely up for the challenge. But yeah, here King Goma is trying to nurse Dende, trying to use him to create another set of Dragon Balls since he can't get his hands on the Demon Realm Dragon Balls. So right now he's being babied. Of course, he scolds her because she's not putting enough emphasis. He does have a nice room for sure. So I mean, if you see, he has like his little, you see right there, his little toy right there circling around him. I forgot the name. Me being a klutz, I forgot. So, and then of course there's King Goma walking in, take good care of him. So she scolds him for not doing a good enough job, not having enough emotion when reading the story. He definitely wants Dende and definitely wants to create the Dragon Balls. So So you can see, go to the next slide. You see he's watching over Dende, basically hawkish, looking over him. So now we go to the next slide here. So as you can see here, well, they finally, the gang finally gets to the castle, and then Glorio tells Pansy, "Okay, this is as far as you go." And then Pansy's like, "No, you're gonna need me." And they're like, "Huh? Sure." So Glorio tells the guard that he's here to talk to to the king. They're like, "Remember, it's me, Glorio." "Oh yes, I remember." Well, then Pansy jumps right in the front and says, "Hey, let us through." All of a sudden, the guards become super scared. Well, the reason that is because actually Pansy is the princess of the castle. She is the princess of the third demon realm and the daughter of the king. I mean, Goku, Shin, and Gloria were not expecting it. So now they're able to go into the castle relatively freely now. So, I mean, it was a surprise even to me. I was not expecting that. That was a definite, very interesting plot twist there. So Pansy is the princess of the third demon realm. But yeah, before I go further here, they're talking. I just said now, you'll be surprised she's not exactly a girl. They're talking, and then she reveals her age. Well, it turns out that Pansy is 80 something years old. I forgot the age exactly. I think 83 or 86 years old. She's up there in age, but she still looks like a kid. Well, if you pay attention to the episode, you'll notice that people in the demon realm live up to 1,000 years. So they definitely have a long lifespan. So basically, Pansy's basically you consider an 8-year-old at the moment, because if you do 1,000, you by percentages like eight, she's lived 8 something% of her life, so she's still a kid at 80 something years old. That is ridiculous. It is. So they finally meet the king, and of course, Glorio says we brought him. There's something weird here that happens, and I caught up to that, because in the other episodes Glorio says he knows the king. Here he is introducing himself to him in a sense, and I was like, wait a minute. I thought he knew the third demon realm's king. I thought he was sent by him. And you'll see Shin actually brings this up later on in the episode. He's like, wait a minute, we should be careful with Glorio. I don't know if I can trust him, because apparently he knew the king, but he's introducing himself as if he didn't. I was like, he's like, something sus. So Shin's already sus of Glorio, so he's basically telling Goku to, keep on his toes, and Goku being naive says, no, we're fine. But that's a little bit more down the line. But so yeah, Glorio talks to him. He says, we brought Goku. This is the strongest. The king is sus, because it's like, well, he's a kid. How did he defeat Majin Buu? And then, of course, Goku's like, I'll show you. So there's a pretty crazy scene there. But then the king, before we get to that, the king says, looking at the slide here, he's like, well, if everything goes as planned, you can marry Pansy. Well, I mean, unfortunately, Pansy gets upset, and she's like, that's not your decision to make, Dad. She becomes upset with that. But Goku later on reveals that he's actually already married and he's got kids, which actually surprises both the king and Pansy. They're like, wait a minute. Like, does your race look like kids always? And that's where Glorio says, no, King Goma wished them to become kids. That's the reason why they look like that. See, there's their shocked face right there. They're like, there's no way he's married and has kids looking like that. Then, of course, Glorio clarifies, what happened there. So now we go on to the next slide. This is where they actually go and fight. So the king says, we'll show you. Let's see what you're made out of. And if everything goes as planned, then I'll believe you. And then Goku, of course, he's over there. He's like, oh, man, this will make they tell him, okay, no weapons, nothing. The king tells his men. Like, no, that's fine. Let him keep his weapons. And then Goku's like, oh, he removes his power pole and he says, this will be a good training. And of course, the king's like, huh? Training? Well, little does he know what kind of fighter Goku is, even in his meanie form. It's pretty crazy. Now, this fight actually got me a little bit hyped, because we're actually something was revealed here and how it's going to look. Now, you see there, he's fighting. He fights the guys. He's basically beating them up one by one. So you see there's the other slide again, same one. We see a glimpse of Super Saiyan Goku Mini in this one. So it's very, very cool. He looks very good with that one, honestly. I cannot wait to see that more in detail. We just get a glimpse of that, and that's it. Unfortunately, he doesn't use that form. He only uses that to overpower when they have him held, which of course he does. Of course, as you can see there, then he reverts back to his base, but he has that glowing form around him. So he fights all the enemies, he goes through all of them, and then everybody's defeated but one. Well, that one guy got scared and he says, I surrender. And that was it. So Goku basically showed what he was made out of. So basically, after that, Glorio tells the king, you know what? We need a plane. Do you have one that we can have? He gives him a plane. Unfortunately, it's not the best. So that's where they're loading up. They're about to take off. Pansy says, I'm going to. The king wasn't very happy with that. But at the end, she convinces them. She's like, I'm very good with technology. She does mention that like 2 or 3 different times. And this is where like, it'll come in handy because I'm very good with technology. I'm good with tech. I'll help them if their plane gets messed up. So let me go. The king obliges at the end. She ends up going with them. Of course, she ends up packing a bunch of stuff. So they're heading out. They're about to take off. You see Pansy with like 2 wheelbarrows of stuff that she ends up taking for her. So they end up leaving. So as usual, they're up in the air. And lo and behold, the plane starts malfunctioning. And Pansy's like, oops, I think I packed too much stuff. So unfortunately, the plane starts going down. They're panicking. And then one of the last shot we see is the plane going down. And then bam, it just hits the ground. And well, there it is. So basically, the episode ends with them crashing their plane onto the ground again. So it seems like they're going to be left without a plane once again. So it seems like they're going to have to walk through their journey because Pansy decided to pack a bunch of stuff, now realizing it would overload the plane. So I do want to give a quick, pretty interesting fact here. Again, shout out for this one to DBS Hype. Again, go subscribe to his channel. He does a great job reviewing the episodes. He mentions that in Dragon Ball GT, in the 5th episode, it is the first time we see Goku as a Super Saiyan in his kid form. Well, guess what? We get a glimpse of Super Saiyan here in episode 5 of Daima as well. I mean, I've been saying we're having a lot of GT feels in this one, and I mean, I don't know if it was deliberate or if it was like an Easter egg there, but episode 5 in Dragon Ball GT was the first time we saw Dragon Ball. Well, first time we saw, sorry, in Dragon Ball GT was in the 5th episode. It was the first time we saw Super Saiyan Goku go super. I mean, we saw Goku go. Jeez, I cannot talk. I am so sorry. So in the 5th episode of Dragon Ball GT, it was the first time we saw Kid Goku go Super Saiyan. Well, here in Dragon Ball Daima, the first time we see Goku Mini go Super Saiyan is in episode 5. So both occurred in episode 5. Not sure if that was an Easter egg or if it was just a pure coincidence or I don't know what. But like I've said it before, this has sort of a GT feel to it, but in a good way. Like how we thought GT was going to be. So this is very, very interesting. I mean, if there's going to be a lot more references to GT, I mean, we could possibly see maybe a new form. I mean, of course, you know, the one that's not canon is Super Saiyan 4. I mean, we could see that. I mean, that could be a way for them to go as adults. I mean, we saw Gogeta become canon and we saw Broly become canon, so why not Super Saiyan 4? I mean, a lot of people like that form. It would be a great way to introduce it for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last slide. You know, here he goes. A couple of pictures that we have here. We see them together there. Pansy and Goku Mini. Him going Super Saiyan. Looks amazing. Then right there, that's the end before they had loaded up into the plane. Basically, in this scene, the king is still worried that Pansy's going, and Goku's like, no, don't worry. I will go ahead and take care of Pansy if anything were to happen to her. I'll handle it. She won't be in danger. They smile at each other and they clash fists. So they're going to become very good friends, it seems, right here. And looking at the last slide, that's when the plane is going down because Pansy overloaded the plane. And, well, they're, again, planeless again. So, I mean, some people weren't big fans, as you can see here. The 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. I thought it was a good 8 out of 10, honestly. It was a very good story. Is it one of the more slower ones? I mean, not really, honestly. I think it was pretty good. Just because it's like we got a good action scene. We saw Super Saiyan there. We got Pansy's introduction. We got them, you know, moving a little bit more. So we got a little bit more background. We saw Shin, you know, becoming sus of Glorio. So a lot of things did happen in this episode. So very cool, very cool. But yeah, that will go ahead and end the episode 5 review for Dragon Ball Daima. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. Feedback is always appreciated, and I will catch you all in the next video. Later, guys.